A very crucial question is who, if anyone, did this. It wasn't an accident. After a perhaps slightly bumpy start, the fuel switch is underway. We will probably see further savings in the coming weeks. We know that ecologically this is not ideal. There's no question about that, but it is the path we have to take this winter and the next.
Well, we're going to cross now to our correspondent Nick Spicer. He joins us on the programme live from Berlin. Nick, what's the latest then on the probe on the cause of this leak?
Well, there are several probes underway, and I think we're going to have to wait for a while before we get any definitive results, if only because it's pretty difficult to approach these giant bubbles of gas, these pipelines leaking gas. You can't send men down in, there's scuba gear. It's a dangerous situation. You can't even sail a ship over these clouds of gas coming up because their buoyancy changes. Perhaps you can send submersibles and so on. So it's going to take a while, and I think the Western governments that are doing these investigations will be very careful to make sure they've gathered all the information and coordinated amongst them. But as you were saying earlier, the leader of Denmark is saying this is an intentional act. The leader of Sweden saying this is an act of sabotage. A Ukrainian official calling it terrorism. What's really interesting to note here from Germany in particular is that Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, called the head of NATO, Mr. Stoltenberg, to talk about the situation. This isn't just a commercial problem reflecting energy needs or an attack on energy infrastructure in in Europe as a result of the Ukrainian war, perhaps, but it's becoming a military situation as well, potentially, in the future.
Nick, the EU warning then of the strongest possible response, quote those three words there, should actual energy infrastructure be attacked in Europe. I mean, what measures could it actually take?
Well, I think there's always a chance of a next level of sanctions as regards Russia, but I think another part of the strategy in this kind of diplomatic standoff is you don't show your hands necessarily or actually spell out what measures will be taken until you get the conclusions of the report. But, this has been a long time coming. Over the summer, the CIA actually warned countries in Europe that there might be an attack on the pipeline. The CIA itself actually attacked a Russian pipeline in 1982, something it neither confirms nor denies, causing a 3-megaton explosion. This is not a new concept in terms of disrupting your enemy's mindset and so on. But when it comes to what Europe can actually do concretely, new sanctions, perhaps a price on gas across Europe, that's something that at least 12 European countries are in favor of in order to sort of blunt what might be, a Russian attack on energy infrastructure in Europe.
Nick, thanks very much. Nick Spicer, our correspondent, talking to us there from Berlin.